This is the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from Sidecar Social at the Star in Frisco. Brought to you by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Tastes like Miller time. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys. Blue KC, the official bootmaker of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com, make your crypto play today. Buffalo Wild Wings. If it's game day, Buffalo Wild Wings is the place to be. Altec Lansing. Just listen with Altec Lansing, perfecting sound since 1927. And by Omni. Omni Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, your hosts, Nicole Hutchison and Brad Shan.
And welcome, everybody, to the Cowboys Hour. Rain or shine, win or do something other than win, we're here on Monday night for the Cowboys Hour at Sidecar Social. Thank you all very much for joining us, for being with us here in Frisco or wherever you're listening around the Dallas Cowboys radio network, or where or whenever you're watching us streaming on DallasCowboys.com. Hi, and hello, and a huge thank you to our very special guest, the Cowboys Pro Bowl punter, Bryan Anger. Thank you for being here.
Woo! Yeah, thank you for having me.
Let me hear it for him. I mean, first of all, it's a tough week because it's some combination of Wednesday and Thursday today. Having to get in an airplane Wednesday under any circumstances would be tough. Having to do it after a game like yesterday, to be out in public, it's not what any player really wants to do. And here you are, and you have our gratitude.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you again.
Yeah. So, from the standpoint of a veteran player, as you know, we're going to spend as little time as possible, like even acknowledging that yesterday ever happened. But from the standpoint of a veteran player, how do you personally, and as a member of a team, deal with the inevitable frustration that comes with a couple of games like that back-to-back, especially when you don't see them coming?
Yeah, you just have to hit the purge button. We have film on everything, so break down the film, position meetings, and hit the purge button after that. It's such a quick week for us. It's kind of a good thing, I guess, having to cram in a ton and just get rid of it, move on to the next, and we have it quick.
Now, you all in y'all's room, you don't have anybody that's young, right? But there's a lot of young guys still on this team.
Kicker's kind of young.
Well, I mean, kind of young.
NFL years.
In NFL years.
Okay.
But
okay, fair enough.
age-wise,
fair enough.
When you have a lot of young guys, rookies, so to say, on this team, how have you helped in particular to kind of refocus their mindset and kind of get them locked in for Thursday?
I think we're good. I think it's unique. We've got a great group of leaders, a fantastic group of leaders. So just learn from them and just follow. Young guys come in. We have some great young guys, great characters, great attitudes. So just kind of taking the lead and just go with it.
When you play competitive team sports long enough, you'll win some, you'll lose some. Do you have to learn how to compartmentalize at some point? Let me study how to do my job and not worry about the things that I cannot control.
Yeah, you don't want to try to do too much. Don't want to do too little, obviously. Do your job. That's the most important thing for us specifically. Like, it's easy for us, I guess. We have one specific task. I punt the ball. Brandon kicks field goals and kicks off, so it's easier. But don't try to do much. Don't try to be Superman and stay in your lane.
What was the reaction with Brandon Aubrey nailing that 65-yard field goal yesterday, making it the second longest kick in NFL history?
It's incredible. He's made 3 kicks now of 65 yards plus this year. Yeah. Unfortunately, 2 didn't count on the record book, but we made the one against the Browns. It didn't count. Had a little bit of a referee snafu, I'll say. Ran out of time, and we shouldn't have. And then the preseason 66-yarder made that. So it's incredible. He sent him out there. He's made every single one and had some room to spare. So I think we'll get an opportunity to get the big one, a bigger
Oh,
one.
what I was going to
Yeah.
say? Oh, what is the big one?
Yeah,
Because I think he's going over 70 this year at some point.
We
can see
could.
that.
I think it's there with the right situation. We could, for sure. The crazy part is he didn't even hit that ball pure yesterday. So he got off and he's like, man, I didn't even strike that perfect. So that's amazing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
How unique is it to have such a weapon like Brandon Aubrey on this team?
I have rarely punted inside the 50-yard line. I'll just say I enjoy that. I like hitting big balls and not having to tone back and hit a 38-yarder.
Yeah.
We had a 67-yarder there, but the game situation just wasn't great for it. He wanted it really bad. He's not going to say anything to coaching or anything. He just would have made it. I think it would have been awesome to see it happen, but it will. We don't have to rush it.
Yeah, I think it's like anything else in the game. Let the game come to you.
Exactly.
And that's going to happen. I want to get back to, and I do want to talk more about the whole operation and Brandon and Trent Sig, the long snapper, who is not an unimportant part of the whole thing. But I want to just kind of big picture where you are after week 3 right now. Am I right in saying that every team has a leadership council where certain veteran players are appointed to give the coaches, players input as decisions are being made?
Yeah, 100%. They're the regulators, I guess. Report to coach, and coach reports to them, and they're the middlemen for the rest of the team. CJ Goodwin's our special teams guy. He has both defense and special teams, so he's unique where he sees both rooms. For us, me, Trent, Brandon, we're just with each other primarily. Right. We don't. Our practice is unique, and we're kind of outside the team at some points. So CJ gets that good background, and yeah, they're there to regulate.
So how influential a leadership council can be? I'm sure it depends in part upon the openness of the coaching staff, and so you hope they're not paying lip service, that they're really listening, because you guys have valuable input. But when you are in, seasons have peaks and valleys. Right now you're in a little valley. When you have those, and there's frustration and emotion from the standpoint of players who might be leaders, you just mentioned the leaders that you have. How critical, important a role do you consider it to be for those veteran players, and I include you even though you're not on the leadership council right now, to help settle the mood, especially early in the season?
Yeah, you said it. It's a long year. It's a constant up and down. It's hard to win in this league. It's very hard to win in this league. There's a ton of good talent, good teams, and we're still growing. So you rely on those guys. They've been there before. They've been in ups and downs. I mean, I've played on some terrible teams, and it's all down. And this is nothing even close to that. So guys have been in worse spots than this. We're not in a bad spot right now. It's still early in the year. We got a ton of football left, and we'll be fine.
And by the way, the game yesterday was kind of a microcosm of what a season could be, because all is lost, women and children overboard, and then all of a sudden, hold on, we're coming into port. We got a chance to pull this thing out right at the end. So if you've let yourself get mentally completely in the ditch, you're not going to be able to be much help at the end when it turns out there's a chance to win. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think there's always a chance to win, and you always have to be in there. You always have to. I mean, we're the first onside kick I think to hit in 2 years, and it's the brand new kickoff rules. It hasn't even happened before, so we're the first one to hit with this new dynamic kickoff, and we do it with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Even myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going for this onside kick right now. And boom, hits, and then game change from there. So it's incredible. You never know what's going to happen.
How close are you physically to Coach Fossil during the game in a situation like that?
We're around him. Yeah, we know what's going on, and Bones is a mastermind, and we trust everything he does. So I told him he's the guru. It's incredible the things that he's studied, and he has never missed a play. He'd go back 100 years. As long as football's been going, he's probably watched every single. And I'm not joking.
I know.
He's watched every single clip of football, and it's incredible.
But do you when something like that's going on, because your relationship with him is so good, you three especially really have a great relationship with him. Does anybody want to lean in and say, "Are you sure, Bones?"
Yeah. Yes, we do. He usually trumps. He is right. So I'll just say that. Yeah. He knows what he's doing. He does listen to us, and he'll bounce things off us as well too. So it's a good relationship.
You've played with other coordinators or other coordinators. How do you compare? How do you differentiate John Fossil from the other guys that you played under?
He's the best. I mean, there's no better way to put it. His players play for him. He's a coach that actually truly loves his players, and he'll tell you that. He'll tell you, "I love you," and like you believe it, and he does, and it's awesome. He's a tremendous human being, and he just gets a different level out of players because of who he is and how he does it.
Delighted to have Cowboys All-Pro punter Bryan Anger. Did I just give you a promotion? I'm not sure if you were, but you deserved it. In my mind, you're All-Pro. Two-time Pro Bowl punter. How about that? Bryan Anger is with us this evening on the Cowboys Hour. We're at Sidecar Social in the Star District in Frisco, and we'll be right back on the Cowboys Hour.
Live from Sidecar Social at the Star in Frisco.
Welcome back to the Cowboys Hour. I'm Brad Sham with Nicole Hutchinson, our very special guest, Cowboys All-Star kicker. How's that? All-Star kicker Bryan Anger. And I didn't give him a battlefield promotion. You've been second-team All-Pro twice.
Twice, yeah.
2 of the last 3 years. which were also your first 2 Pro Bowl seasons in the league, right?
Yeah, correct.
And in 21, you had your statistical best season by all the ways punters are measured. Is that right?
We beat it all last year,
and
too.
beat it all last year. Okay, let's start there. After Nicole tells us who else is making it possible for us to be here today.
Ooh, Albertsons. When it comes time to shop for tailgate favorites, go to Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Get 10% off your groceries every Dallas Cowboys game day when you wear your Cowboys jersey. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys.
Now, this is really interesting to me, and we'll talk more about this probably in 2 weeks. But Bryan came into the league in 2012.
Yep.
Drafted by Jacksonville. Pretty high, right?
Yep, third round.
Third round. So, what do you remember about that? Did that surprise you?
We thought it could be a possibility. There were a few teams that had a third-round ranking on me, and talking to the special teams coaches, they said that they wanted to take me. We had inside information, I would say. I can't tell.
Wouldn't ask.
That I would get drafted in the 4th round. So if somebody was to take me before, they would have to jump into the 3rd and get me, which Jacksonville ultimately did. So.
And I read today, please confirm or deny, that when you're drafted in the 3rd round, you're picked ahead of a lot of players. And one of them was Russell Wilson.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, pretty crazy. That's what I actually took a lot of flack for that in Jacksonville, because we weren't good, and quarterback situation was questionable.
But they drafted Blaine Gabbert in the 1st round.
Yeah, they
right?
drafted Blaine in the 1st round, and then Russell fell to the 3rd round. And there's 75 other people that passed on him before they drafted him. So of course it's my fault as a punter getting drafted, where I have no choice. But it all worked out.
And so you were in Jacksonville, you were in Tampa, you were in Houston before you came here, and you've been a good punter since the time you've been in the league, and you've been a great punter for the last 3 years for sure, and that's just not my opinion. I mean, every measurement bears it out. Why are you a late bloomer, banger, or what is it? What's happened in the last 3 years that's made you the best you've ever been?
I would tell you I've been consistent. I think I've been consistent with it. I think I played for some bad teams. Not every team has a special teams emphasis like what we do here. Went to Houston, and we had a big special teams emphasis. My first year there, I got cut, missed the first 2 games of the season, and then came back in and did really well. Statistically, I netted like 44-6, so that was another one that tied my first year here, but we'll go untalked about because I didn't even qualify for the Pro Bowl. So kind of had a great statistical year, best season that I've had. We gave up like 54 return yards all year, which is ridiculous. So had a really good year that year, and just went under the radar because I had no accolades and just didn't play the whole season. So yeah, been consistent with it.
Well, you have been. But by the way, and parenthetically, and I do want to get back because I know how hard you work at what you do. But I've been doing this a minute, and when I started doing this job, there were no special teams coaches. Different aspects of special teams got handed off to different position coaches. I think when I started, Tom Landry, who had been a punter, I think he coached the punters.
Yeah.
And and so now this evolution's happened. Have you seen, when you came into the league in 2012, mostly around the league, was there this now heightened emphasis on the importance of special teams and devoting time to it?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's just dependent on like Coach McCarthy has a major special teams emphasis. He's all about complementary football. Knows the importance of good teams unit. As you can see, last game we turned around the game. So it just depends, I think, on your head coach. Now in college we had special teams and tight ends coordinator, so or tight ends coach, special teams coordinator. So I'd say there it wasn't as definitive of a spot and as focused, but NFL, yeah. It just depends on the organization and the coach that's there that emphasizes it more or less.
I feel like there's also just been an emphasis on special teams as in the NFL as a whole, just because with the new kickoff rule and Bones spearheading that whole thing. How has it been for you just being a part of that and seeing Bones just continue to put an emphasis on special teams?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
you see what Turp does. Turpin's incredible, so he can change a game. We opened up with a punt return in the first game of the year, so it can make and break a game. And Bones knows that and wants to enforce it and wants to make special teams more important. It already is important. He just wants to get more plays. I know kickoff was becoming a non-factor, and they had to do something just to get it exciting again. What's the percentage? It was like near 90% touchbacks, I think, or
Right.
even more.
Yeah.
So something had to change, and I think it's good what we're starting to do.
I want to make you talk about yourself, which I know is not your favorite thing to do publicly, but I do not want to let escape how you have refined your craft and the things that you do to make sure that you stay at the peak level, or to make sure that this isn't your peak level. I'm sure, knowing you, you'd probably like to have better statistics than you've had before. So just give people an idea about your routine during the season, the things you work on to be better.
Yeah, I'd say preseason's huge for us. That's where we get the bulk of our work in. Once season starts, I don't want to say it's maintaining, but you have to build a good base, be locked in and be ready to go because the year's long. We only practice twice a week before. We'll kick on Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday's a bigger day on our own, where we're separate from the team, so that's where we get a lot of our work in. Thursday we have team punt, and that's where you get your game reps. I try to replicate the game as much as I can, get team reps in, and then finish off with a little bit of reps on my own. So I'd say, yeah, the most is in the off season. For me, I used to be a swing out of my shoes guy, had a big leg and wanted to show it off, I guess. 5.4 punt is second punt is a huge punt, so could go out there and hit a 5.4 punt with a chance to hit the ball more. So that's where, with my personal kicking coach, Ignacio Brache, we decided to take a little bit off it, still have a big leg and still one of the biggest legs in the league with taking a little bit off. So sacrifice less big balls, not the big dramatic cool punts, I guess, for us, but more consistency from swinging, say, like 85-90%. So that's where I think that my career kind of took a turn for the better.
Have you noticed at all, just talking to the people in your profession, because I know you all talk to each other year round, you're such a great example of why studying the intricacies of how to be effective can make you just put, like you said, just a big boom and swing secondary. But kids probably want to come out and crush the ball. Let me show you how far I can kick this thing.
It's fun to hit home runs. Yeah, it's fun to, it's cool. It's cool to just see it yourself.
You were like that yourself?
Yeah, for sure. In college, I'd swing out of my shoes and would try to hit the ball 60 yards, 5.5. I had some 5.4s, 5.5s in college. I had a couple in the pros early on in my career, and one will sneak in there every now and then. You get on one with some momentum and a little bit of juice going. So, but it's the consistency. It's dialing in the direction, trying to force some sideline and limiting the field to 5 yards of space versus having 50 yards of the field for the team to cover. So, yeah, and having a good supporting cast to help you out.
Something you were talking about off to the side before the show is that your flexibility has improved so much. How did you work on that to kind of help your extension on your leg?
Yeah, early on in high school, I couldn't touch my toes. I couldn't even get to my shins. The kicking coach that Chris Saylor is in Southern California, he's like a guru for high school to college, has a couple big camps a year in Vegas, and that's how you get a scholarship as a kicker. He said you need to get more flexible. So my mom would make me stretch every single day. I hated it. I would fight her. But every single day I had to stretch and really work on it there. Building the base, I said, like, I guess all the way from back then. Now I kind of maintain it through season. You don't want to overstretch. You can get like jello legs and just feel like a limp noodle almost. You just get jello legs. if you work it too much. I think you want a little bit of that tight springiness, like a spring that's pulled, ready to whip. So it's a balance, I think.
Yoga, is that part of your routine?
I did. No, I'd say I did more Pilates, and then just now it's just maintaining body work and just making sure that all parts are aligned, massaging and acupuncture needling and cupping and stuff like that. It's more important, I think. Just making sure everything is, if one thing is off on your body, then it affects the whole chain down.
Where does the acupuncture come in? What do you stick to make sure that something else
Yeah, no, that's you're just hitting certain little spots that are trigger points. If something tightens, then it's going to create a whole chain down portion of your body. So it's fighting that, especially as I'm year 13 now. So you just got to take care of yourself because age is not your friend, I guess. So trying to fight that as much as I can.
Tell
and stay
me about
young.
it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Can't relate to that just yet. But how often do you do like massages and the acupuncture?
We'll do it. We do it like Thursdays is usually our day, and then Fridays we have massage therapists come in. We have a recovery day Friday. So Thursdays the more hardcore work where it's going to leave you sore. The acupuncture stuff leaves you sore. So you have to time it out right before the game.
I'm sorry, finish, please.
Yeah, and then Friday massage and kind of work some of that stuff out. Saturday you feel good, and then Sunday you feel real good.
That reminded me, one of the things I wanted to hear you talk about was today's Wednesday and Thursday. I mean, what do you do to convince your body that you're right on schedule for Thursday night?
Just knowing that you have to do it, I guess. You can put your mind, you can tell yourself that you're going to be ready. Mind is incredible with what you can tell it to do. For us, we punt really light, or punt and kick really light once. We'll go tomorrow. So it'll be Tuesday, is similar to our Friday. And then, yeah, just know you have to go do it. Luckily, you have another half day. We have till Thursday night, so we'll be on the plane and the day before getting nice and tight again too. So it's just balancing it all, and it's just what you have to do. You have no choice.
Cowboys punter Bryan Angers, our guest on the Cowboys Hour this evening. We are at Sidecar Social in the Star District in Frisco, and we'll be right back.
Go Cowboys!
Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from Sidecar Social at the Star in Frisco.
All right, welcome back into Cowboys Hour. We've got Bryan Anger, myself, Nicole Hutchison, and Brad Sham. And this segment is brought to you by Lucchese. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at Lucchese's 6 DFW locations or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. Bryan, I want to talk to you about your organization. It's Project Restoration Foundation, and it's helping U.S. veterans and public safety professionals cope with PTSD and anxiety. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually, we just changed our name. It's now the Freedom Dive Foundation.
Okay.
So have a group of buddies that are close dive friends. We were scuba diving one day. I've been wanting to start something that I'm passionate about. My family has deep military roots. My friends, deep military roots. We were just on the boat chit-chatting, and we're like, you know what, we found it. So there's some science behind helping deal with PTSD and social anxieties and just cortisol levels, getting like down to the scientific level with your body of reduction of cortisol levels with scuba diving and with oxygen therapy. Hyperbaric chambers are huge now.
Oh, wow.
And you increase you're inhaling a higher level of oxygen, a higher percentage of oxygen at an increased atmospheric pressure, which you can replicate in the water. When you go 33 feet down underwater, you're at 2 atmospheres of pressure, and you can breathe like 40% oxygen. So you can get actual healing benefits from scuba diving. Instead of being stuck in a capsule, you might have claustrophobia, whatever. You're in the ocean, you're in a spring, you're in a pool, you're in the open, and looking at fish, looking at wildlife, doing activities that are designed by us, by some of the instructors. So it's cool.
And you also scuba dive as well?
Yes. Yeah.
How often do you go?
As often as I can.
Yeah.
Used to go a ton. Now have 2 little girls, 3-year-old and 9-month-old. So don't have as much time anymore, but still at least 2-3 times in the off season. Used to be like 2-3 times a week or a month. So did a lot more, but we'll get back to it. Yeah.
I want to come back to that because I love scuba diving. But the foundation, how do you, we're sitting on the boat. We're talking about a plan. Oh, guess what? We could do this, and we could apply things that we care about, 2 different things, and put them together and put them to good use. But then how do you go about putting that into motion tangibly for something that satisfies you as helping people?
Yeah, I think it's easy. It's something we're all passionate about, and when you're doing something you like, it's fun and it's easy. It's just kind of second nature. So love supporting military, love doing as much as we can for them. Those guys are very similar to us, I'd say, as football players and as athletes. So our tester was with a couple friends of one of my buddies. We brought him out for a weekend in the spring, and just getting those 2 back in a group setting, kind of like a locker room setting where you can joke and mess around with each other. Nigel was a soft turtle that's in one of the springs, and Nigel would just show up behind you sometimes, like be right in your face. And Nigel, one of the guys was creeped out by Nigel, so we'd come up and we'd grab him in the shoulder or grab his butt or something like that and just get him like Nigel's biting him. So just having fun with guys, and it got him to loosen up, and it got him to just change in the matter of 1 or 2 days. Just being back in that fun setting. So.
It's such a phenomenal thing. How old were you when you started diving?
I was 2014, I think, when I was in Jacksonville. So 26 years old.
And that is a step. I haven't dived in years and years, but that's a step that a lot of people who've never done it don't understand the incredible majesty of the world that's under the sea. That first step is the one they can't take. Have you ever dived?
No, and I don't see myself ever doing it. I'm not going to lie to you.
Why?
I'm terrified of going that deep underwater. I'm sorry. Mm-mm.
Yeah, you don't even have to go deep though. You can go. The springs in Florida are cool. They stay 72 degrees year round. Natural springs. They have manatees at points where you can't really swim then, but fresh water. You
Okay.
can dive down to like 20 feet, or you can float like at 3 feet deep.
See,
if you
I can
want.
do that.
Yeah, so
I
it's
can do
fun.
that.
You have
20
to try
feet,
it.
not
Did you
happening.
have? Yeah, don't say no. Did you have any reluctance to take that first step?
I've always wanted to do it. I grew up in California. One of my brothers and I fished a ton, and we would kayak fish, and you're over kelp beds. There's great white sharks out there, so it's like a juvenile breeding ground, I guess. There's a ton of juveniles hanging around, and some big moms and dads. So we never did it out there, but there's some pristine, like Anacapa Island and Catalina and things, are pristine dive locations. When I got to Jacksonville, I had to do it. Water's like 80 plus degrees in the summer. It's a bathtub. You're in board shorts and your BC, your vest, that's your flotation device. So we literally, it's 85 degrees down there and you're 60 feet underwater. It's pretty cool. So
Where's your favorite dive spot?
we dive St. Pete a lot. St. Pete, we have a ton of spots. There's a bunch of natural ledges and there's some wrecks to dive. So we do a lot of spearfishing. It's cool because you can go down there and see exactly what you want to take. You don't have to waste a ton of time on hook and line and burning a ton of bait. You go down there and it's also good. There's lionfish out there. They're invasive. You can clean up and they taste delicious. So it's a win-win.
Has all your diving been domestic?
I did, yes.
Hawaii, you ever dive in Hawaii?
I have no, I've just snorkeled in Hawaii and snorkeled. We snorkeled in St. Lucia, and then we've done the dry Tortugas. So pushing kind of. We've been in the Bahamas a little bit, but yeah, just briefly.
You would love diving in Hawaii,
Yeah.
but we digress, and then we're going to work on getting Nicole back. We're going to work on getting her down in the water. I would like to return the conversation to Mr. Aubrey. Very unusual young man, I think, because he's just so composed. I will tell you all, I went, Bryan was in his locker, I think Wednesday last week. Trent Sig was in his, and Brandon came into his, and I wanted to have Brandon talk about being on the field with Justin Tucker, arguably the most successful kicker in league history. And now here you are in your second year, you're having all this success. I thought surely he would be very impressed about being on the field with Justin Tucker. He said, no, not really. I mean, I don't really look at anybody else. He does some things that I really don't want to do. So I said, you want to tell me what those are? And Bryan and Trent and Brandon all in unison said, no, he doesn't want to tell you any of that. He doesn't want to tell you any of that. How many kickers that you've worked with, forget about the physical ability, how many kickers that you've worked with have had that level of composure and tunnel vision?
I've been lucky. I've been with some good guys. I started off with Josh Scobie as a rookie, and he had an amazing career. I've been with Greg Zerline, great career. Brett Maher had that same attitude. He
did.
He actually was a killer, and it was cool to see. And he would go, as much as you can, he would go attack. I'd say in attack mode. He was more aggressive, which was great. Brandon is just neutral. I know we talk about that word a lot. He's grounded. He's composed. Look at his background. I mean, what people don't understand, he was the #1 soccer player in the nation coming out of high school too. So he's been at the top himself, and now he's back up there again. It's just awesome to see.
How would you describe all the personalities in that room between you, Brandon, and Trent?
I think it's complimentary. We're all pretty laid back. I think it's a good thing to have laid back, even keeled kickers. You don't want them too high, too low. You don't want them to get too hot on a miss and get too excited about making. So he just is constant. I'd say that's the word for him. He's just constant, consistently, just constant. And
If you can come up with a name for y'all's trio, what would it be?
I don't know.
Dang it.
Yeah, Dak. Yeah. A Banger, Butter, and Sigs. He called them Sigs, which is great. So Banger, Butter, and Sigs is the current favorite right now. Yeah.
We were talking earlier about what Brandon's capacity might be, and I mean, I think to me, it's just clear he's going over 70 yards at some point. It's kind of fun to see him get the opportunity. But there's more. You know, the first kicker in the Hall of Fame, Jan Stenerud, had a career success rate of about 54%. You can't make a team at 54% now. And the more and more and more long kicks, close to 60 yards, are being attempted and made. You have a theory about why that is and where it's all going?
It's just technical. Like you said, there's more focus on special teams now. It's more important. You don't have guys that are playing quarterback and also kicking, playing receiver and kicking. I mean, I did in high school, and it's not sustainable. So
what was your other position? Quarterback?
I played receiver.
You're receiver?
Yeah, I played receiver. So we were looking at pictures the other day. I've got receiver shoes on and kicking these big old clunky shoes. So it's just it's focus based. You have to be focused on your spot. You've got to it's getting more technical. However, it can get more and more technical. It has gotten more and more technical, and analytics are such a big part of things now too. So the analytics just keep on driving it to be.
How does that work into the kicking?
Just percentages, averages. I mean, it's not going to affect consistency, but numbers are such a bigger focus now. Like when was the net punt average talked about before? Like gross punt average. Even when I got in the league, gross punt average was the big thing. Andy Lee and Mike Cyphers and Leckler all were averaging. They were pushing 50 yards, and that was a huge thing. They were touching 50 yards gross. But their nets were down in the 30s. 40 really wasn't achieved, I think, until right around when I got in the league back in 2012. Like hitting a 42-yard net was incredible. So it's just gotten in the last 10 plus years. Now the average record I think is 46 for punt. We're sniffing 45 the last couple years, so we're pushing for that as well.
Didn't you hit 44 or something?
Yeah, we were 44.9 last year. We were like 44.2, and then had a game. The last game I think we netted like 40 yards, and it dropped us to 44.9. So we were up over that 45. Yeah, 45.2 just right there.
Did you look at it after the year and said, dang it, I was that close to 45?
Yeah, we're pushing for it. It's a goal. Ultimately, I want to set the record, obviously. I want to have that number one spot and be over 46. So that's what we're going for.
Over 46?
Yeah, 46.
Wow.
Push 47 if we can.
I love it, and I hope you stay around until you do it,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
We're going to take our last break. When we come back, if you've got some questions for Bryan Anger, we've got the time for it, and we will be right back on the Cowboys Hour.
Go Cowboys!
Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from Sidecar Social at the Star in Frisco.
And we are delighted to have all of you with us. Brad Sham, Nicole Hutchinson, our very special guest, the Cowboys All-Star punter Bryan Anger, and we have special gratitude for Bryan being with us with the short week. It's Tuesday. It's a combination of Wednesday and Thursday today, and Cowboys will get on an airplane on Wednesday and go to New Jersey. And so we're kind of talking about the chemistry and the fine points of the kicking game. You said something a minute ago that I'd never really thought about. You're a receiver in high school.
Yep.
And the punter.
Yeah.
And you didn't change shoes.
No.
I've never, Danny White for many years was the Cowboys' first backup quarterback, then starting quarterback, and the punter. And I never asked him if he changed shoes.
Yeah, that's what we're wearing soccer cleats as kickers and punters. So, and then the receiver cleats are just a little bit thicker, a little bit more supportive for guys cutting. So it's different.
All right, let's get some questions from our audience.
Good evening, Bryan. My name's Rambo.
How's it going, Rambo?
So you obviously have top-tier skill to make it to the NFL, or in the NFL. What is your words of wisdom to high school punters, college punters, for them to move up to the next level?
I'm going to go with what we're talking about with Brad, just be an athlete. For me, I was a multi-sport athlete. I did soccer, baseball, basketball, and football. My freshman year, I stopped playing club soccer and then just focused on the three. But without basketball, I'd never be as jumpy and as explosive as I am. I could jump out of the gym, was a good athlete. Baseball, I was a tremendous hitter. Hand-eye coordination and now foot-eye coordination, it ties in. And then football, I didn't play football until freshman year of high school. I wanted to be a wide receiver. My brother played wide receiver. I did not want to be a kicker because it wasn't cool, and I fought my parents. Kicking is cool. I'll start with that. Kicking is very cool. I'm going on year 13 now, and I'll tell you, it's pretty freaking cool. So don't specify too much early on. As you go down the road, I know we talked about it before. Technically, you keep on growing, I guess, as you grow. You keep on developing and learn a little bit more and more and more. So, yeah, just be an athlete.
Was it when you were drafted in the third round by Jacksonville? I don't know. Was it Rich Eisen or somebody who said, "Yeah, hey, kickers are people too"?
Yeah, punters are people too.
Punters are people too.
Punters are people too. I was the OG of the punters are people too movement. It's pretty cool.
Do you have a shirt or anything?
I do. I have the original shirt from Rich. I have. It's pretty neat. He presented it on his podcast early on when I was a rookie. It was awesome.
Well, I've got to get a hold of him to see if copies of that are available.
How you doing? My name is Jermaine. Brad, I got to thank you first. Appreciation since the Omni, I've been rocking with you. So
I recognize you and I appreciate it. Thank you.
But Bryan, happy early birthday. Also traveling to Jersey, I need it with you. But life advice. I heard you're a dad of two girl dads. I need some help, advice. What you need from me? I got 2 girls at home. Can I get some advice?
How old are your daughters?
Yeah.
I got 4 and 1.5, and I'm a Libra as well. So they were making fun of me for being light-spoken Libra. So I need some help. You give me some advice? What's up?
For me, it's just being present. Be present while you're there. Social media, everything's a distraction. You can get stuck on your phone, but put the phone down and be present, I think, is the most important thing. I'm busy. I get back, and I'm in dad mode when I get home. I play with my girls, and till they have to go to bed, we're having fun, and then go to bed, and my wife and I can relax and hang out a little bit. So just be present.
Really appreciate you so much, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's the favorite thing to do with your daughters?
We're all over the place. I guess my 3-year-old likes having fun. So we're playing kitchen. Her new thing is playing fabric, she calls it. She has some little cushions that she can make like playhouses and forts and stuff, and she wants to wrap her pads in different types of fabrics and decorate them and stuff. So I get stickers on my head and glitter everywhere. So yeah, it's fun.
Are they spoiled?
Yeah,
Oh,
of
I
course.
know it.
Yeah,
Of course they are. How old's the youngest one?
9 months.
So has the 3-year-old got to the point yet where she's wants to make you up and.
She has. She actually just decorated herself yesterday for the game. She had a bunch of makeup all over her face. I'll show you the picture later. It's funny, but yeah, did makeup herself. Grandma gave her a makeup kit, a big old makeup trunk, and she gets only certain times because it'll get everywhere. But Allison, my wife, was with her and doing her makeup, and she just scribbles all over her face.
How about on your face? Has she tried to make you up?
I think I've only had it once. I've had a little bit, but she just got like cheeks and maybe a little bit of nose and forehead, but nothing too bad yet.
I think we need to keep track of that as time goes on. So the other sports, which was of the other sports, which was your favorite, and at which were you best?
Favorite was basketball. I loved it. I'm very competitive and kind of was a little bit of a animal, I guess. I'd have a little switch turned. I'm very laid back for the most part, but basketball and soccer, I just got kind of mean, and I miss that a little bit. We can only compete so much as punters. The best was baseball. I thought I was going to chase a baseball scholarship. I was a good player and a really good hitter and was just kind of growing into my body. I'm long and lean, so I have more of baseball leverage, I'd say. I had a good arm and just was fast and could cover a lot of ground. I played outfield and played first base just because I was lanky. But I'd say I was best at baseball. I love basketball. Yeah.
How did football win?
It just went nuts. I went to an event. I fought my parents for about a month of going to a Chris Saylor small group lesson in Southern California.
That was something you wanted to do.
Something I did not want to do.
You didn't want to
My
do.
parents wanted me to do it. Going from sophomore to junior year in high school, I was a field goal kicker as well as a place kicker, and they wanted me to just go to a private lesson just to learn the fundamentals and know what I was doing. And then went, kicked, and I was okay. And then punted the last 15 minutes, did really well. Chris told me, hey, you have a future in punting. Come to my event in Vegas in January. This was like in October. So come in January, you do well, you'll get looked at. You might get some letters of interest. I went as an underclassman and won it. So everything just blossomed from there and went crazy.
And
so
Mom and Dad heard scholarship.
Yeah, scholarship. I got offered shortly after that, and we didn't expect it. We just thought we'd get some letters of interest and say, hey, we want you to come to our camp or do whatever. And then I started getting offers, and it went crazy as a junior. So ever since then, it's been a roller coaster ride.
At what point did you start loving punting?
I don't know, probably at some point in the NFL. It never really settled down for me in college. And I was rated well and did well in college, and I just feel like it was such a, thrown at me so fast. I never really expected to do it, and I honestly, at first I didn't even want to do it. So once I got offers, I was like, wow, this is actually really going to happen. And I remember in high school, my dad, Mike Cyphers, was with the Chargers, and my dad had cut out a little newspaper blip. I'm dating myself right now, I'm sorry. But newspaper, he cut out a little.
Doesn't scare me.
Yeah, a little 2x2 newspaper article about Mike Cyphers signing like a 3-year, $8.5 million deal. And my dad said, look it, this can be a legitimate job. This can be a legitimate lifestyle for you. Like, look at this. And I read that, and I was like, holy moly, man, like, this is actually.
So you didn't say, yeah, but Dad, I can hit a curveball.
Yeah, no, that's my brother's best friend. My brother's 10 years older than me. His best friend was Joe Borchard. He got drafted in the first round. I think he was number 4 or 5 pick overall. At that point, he was the highest paid signing bonus I think any rookie had signed. And he was up and down. Went from AAA up to majors, back down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and he just couldn't quite make it. That was the Mark McGwire, kind of end of Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, home run dynasty. So it was boom or bust, and he struck out a lot in the pros, and then went into the minors and would do well in AAA, and just was up and down, and just seeing him, it's tough to make it in baseball. So the whole football thing took off. I was the number 1 recruit coming out of high school, and then was the number 1 punter coming out of college. So it's just incredible. I look back, and it's just kind of crazy to see how it happened, and it all played out. Now I'm going on year 13. It's just like, what the heck, man? I'm still going. So it's fun.
Not only are you still going, the evidence is very tangible that you're still getting better, and it's a joy to watch you perform. and it's a real honor to have you with us. Call you friend. Really appreciate you being with us.
Thank you.
Bryan Anger, everybody. Let's hear it for Bryan. Cowboys will get on an airplane on Wednesday and go to New Jersey, and Nicole and I will be back a week from tonight at Sidecar Social at the Star District in Frisco on our next Cowboy Hour.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!